Hi, this is Don McCullough. I'm your host for this episode of IP Talk Radio. Our guest today is Michael Howard. He's the co-founder and principal analyst at Infonectics Research. You've probably heard his talk and material around the industry. Michael, welcome to IP Talk Radio.
Thanks, Don. Glad to be here.
I wanted to talk to you today about some of the changes that the new devices and the new services and applications are driving. What's going on as all these new things are happening to the network? What are you seeing?
Well, the network gets affected quite a bit. And as each of us starts using multiple devices, we're wanting the same experience no matter what device we're using, whether we're on a fixed network or on our mobile network. But the carriers can't quite deliver that same service experience.
So is that driving a whole lot more traffic? And if it is driving more traffic, why can't we just build our way out of it?
The carriers would like to, and that's the tool they've had so far, is just build their way out of it, is to buy more routers, more optical gear. But the problem is that traffic is growing at a 40 or 50% and even more, according to a lot of the service providers we talk to, faster per year. And the costs of transport equipment, the routers, optical gear, etc., are declining maybe about 15, 20% a year. There's a train wreck at the edge happening here. So carriers are going to have to get smarter about how they use the network. They have to look at new architectures.
So, Michael, that's a real challenge. I hear that traffic is increasing, leading to this train wreck at the edge. Let's take a step back and can you describe how we got here?
So carriers, because of the internet, beginning in the middle of the 1995s, around 2000, carriers started moving their networks towards a packet network, all IP network. Long, slow process, moving off of TDM onto a next generation IP network. Well, that's been in process for a long time. What's happened in the last 3 years is the impact of the new social media. More and more people in the world using the network as a part of their daily life, mobile broadband, and the biggest impact is video.
Okay, so mobility and video are the new things that are going on there. Tell me a little bit more about that and why an IP network helps.
Most of the large carriers have multiple networks. They don't have a single network. The biggest operational change they can make, the biggest efficiency they can get, is by having fewer and fewer networks with the goal of finally having one. That one network needs to be an IP network. It needs to be the one place to put all of the services they've been offering on separate networks before. Now, that's a challenge to get there, but a big opportunity of getting there is that they now will have a single network, a single platform on which to offer new services, single platform to launch new applications. So that's the biggest challenge. Carriers are heading that way. It's going to take a while.
So by simplifying those multiple networks, you're saying they can avoid this sort of cost train wreck that you mentioned?
Well, not really. They can to some extent. Every operator needs to get their operations leaner, but the problem is video is growing a lot faster, 40, 50% at least per year. A lot of operators say up to 100% a year that their traffic on their networks is growing. So the cost of equipment, the transport equipment, routers, optical gear, is only coming down around 20%. Nice decrease in costs, but 20% a year won't make it to make up for traffic growing at 50 or 100% a year.
So that's the consumer side with mobility and traffic from video. What's going on the business side right now?
On the business side, it's kind of the same things in that consumers are bringing, we as consumers, we as business people, bringing our iPhones, smartphones to work. We're bringing, executives are probably the ones first bringing their iPads into work. Now there's multiple devices that the IT departments don't have control over. And we as consumers, business people, want to have the same experience on the home that we get at home on fixed networks. We want it on mobile networks. We want to be able to do the same with all of our business applications. So it's called the consumerization of IT, but it's a big challenge, and it really leads to IT departments wanting to move their applications to the cloud, where they don't have to worry about which devices are accessing the applications.
And if it's in the cloud, you got to have rock solid connection, right?
We, as consumers, we want it, and as business people, we want it even more.
Okay. Well, you're painting quite a picture. We've got increasing traffic, new business models, simplification of the network to all IP. Tell me some of the things that you're seeing operators doing to meet that, some specific things maybe.
Probably the biggest, and we've talked to operators all over the world for the last year and a half about these issues. The biggest bang for the buck that operator can help their network with is using caching to help reduce the amount of video traffic. So as soon as someone in some metro area uses a video, as soon as the second person accesses that video can be cached, and now it doesn't have to travel across the backbone, doesn't have to travel across a metro network.
What about central offices? They've been such a feature in the telephony network over the years. What's going on with central offices these days?
So a lot of operators, and I think maybe led by Deutsche Telekom's project to reduce the number of central offices and offices too, from 8,000 to 900. So a factor of 10, they're going to reduce the number of offices. Further, a lot of operators are looking at just having a few in a big metro area, maybe 5 or 10, what I'm calling next-gen COs. It's a big CO, and they can localize a lot of functions in one place that have been in various places in the network, like distribute the BRAS function, typically in one super POP in a metro area. Now distribute that out to these next-gen COs. Next-gen COs are a good place also to put, is the place where fixed and mobile broadband can come together. And there's a lot of new nice equipment, including one from Ericsson, that can fit in that spot and be able to handle subscriber management for fixed subscribers and subscriber management for mobile subscribers in the same spot.
Cool. These next generation COs, how do they relate to data centers? A lot of the cloud stuff seems to be driven out of data centers.
Funny you should ask that question, Don, because a lot of operators are looking at the cloud opportunity. They're also looking at the need to have distributed compute power for their own networks, for the applications they're delivering. And these same next-gen COs are a good place where carriers are thinking about putting what I'm calling a mini data center or a distributed data center. So a place within the metro where cloud services can be offered, latency-sensitive applications can be run. So those next-gen COs are also a place for a mini data center.
Well, Michael, I really appreciate you coming in. The theme I hear is the services are getting more complicated, but the network, the COs, really have to get simpler to avoid this cost problem. So thanks for coming in and sharing your insights.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
And thank you to our audience for listening to IP Talk Radio. We're always interested in hearing your feedback and suggestions. You can email us at iptalkradio@ericsson.com, and you can follow us on Twitter and tweet to us at EricssonIP. I'm your host, Don McCullough. Thank you for listening. Please tune in next time as we continue to keep you informed about the latest development in IP networking. Thanks.